As promised, I've got the main man, Gab Marcotti, here. We couldn't quite make it to his estate, but you know what? Our London ESPN offices will do, won't they, Gab? So you've been keeping track of everything going on in Europe now. Let's start off with Real Madrid, a 4-2 win over Granada. I thought that they were flirting with danger a little too much, but top thing is Eden Hazard finally scored.
Eden Hazard gets on the score sheet, which is important. Gareth Bale gets a standing ovation when he goes off the pitch, which few would have expected 2 months ago. And it's weird because at one point they're 3-0 up, they're sailing, but there's no Thibaut Courtois, and Calamity Areola comes in, concedes a goal, then another one. All of a sudden it's 3-2. They're hanging in there towards the end, and you just wonder, against Granada have had their ups and downs, but this is still a newly promoted team. So all of a sudden, remember we were all praising Zinedine Zidane? He sorted out the defense and everything. They've given up 4 goals in the last 2 games against Bruges and Granada. So once again, more talking points in Spain.
So in terms of Eden Hazard now, because we were all waiting and the pressure was building on him and whatnot, now that the ice is broken, is this just the beginning of something special for the Belgian?
I don't know. I'd have to look at my crystal ball. Look, I mean, I think it helps everybody, when they sort of lose that initial goose egg. And you do have a certain balance. And it looks as if what he's focused on is the middle of the park. Modric, by the way, scoring an absolute screamer, and I think he's going to help the midfield, especially because Toni Kroos, of course, now injured as well. He had to come off in the first half. So, the attack was something you almost felt as if Zidane said, all right, I'm not really concerned by those guys. Let me work on further back. And we thought he'd licked it, but now it looks like he's got to get under the hood there again. But I know, I think with Hazard, Bale, and Benzema, that's kind of the least of Real Madrid's problems right now.
Fede Valverde, I know that there's a couple of big names there on the score sheet, but Fede Valverde, I saw a lot of chatter about him and almost saying that he was definitely the best player on the pitch in that match. What did you make of his performance?
I don't think he was the best player on the pitch. He certainly had a very strong performance. And he's somebody who, of course, he was injured earlier. He is somebody who was kind of like the jack of all trades, right? Coming in off the bench because, you look at how they went into the season and they were so short-handed in midfield beyond the Casemiro, Kroos, Modric, who was injured.
So is he the chosen one now?
Put it this way, he's going to get a lot of minutes. He's going to get a lot of time now with Kroos out as well. He's the only one who has those young, fresh legs, and he also has quality.
And just finally on Real Madrid, forget your BBC. Gone are those days. What about BBJ, Bale, Benzema, and James making some contributions today? Pretty decent.
BBJ?
Yeah.
Where were you putting Hazard?
Well,
no love for him. You just praised him. The guy scored.
Cool. Yeah, but he can stand on his own. But what about BBJ? Nice to see them making some contributions. As you mentioned, Gareth Bale getting a standing O when he went off.
Yeah, look, I mean, one thing we've seen about James this season, in the past he's been criticized a little bit about, his work rate. He's not the most dynamic player. He's not the most athletic player. But what we've seen from him early this year when he was asked to play in midfield, he was running all over the place. He was putting in tackles. He was trying to give off that blue-collar vibe. With Modric fit and Valverde in there, maybe he won't need to play midfield as much. He can certainly add to the front line in terms of quality, at least until Asensio and Isco come back and become regular contributors.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.